Thank you so much for being here. I feel honored that so many people showed up. Thank you to Denise and Dave and the Wellness Bank. And I want to thank all the sponsors. These are some foods that we eat in my family all the time. They're all healthy and clean and higher in protein and sugar-free, or maybe they just have maple syrup in them. So definitely help yourselves and get familiar with them. And if you order them on Thrive Market, you get them all for half price. And you can, it's thrivemarket.com/JulieEHealth if you want to get a free month membership. It's like a Costco thing. They said if Whole Foods and Costco had a baby, it would be Thrive Market. So that's where we order all our snacks from at home, and they come delivered to your door like in 2 days, and they're half price. It's kind of a win-win-win. So similar to that being a simple solution to eating healthy, I've been practicing nutrition for 32 years, and that's before the word nutrition was cool. And because I've been practicing for so long and I've worked with so many people and I've studied so many different things, I have truly figured out and mastered the easy things you can do to be healthy. And I know everyone in this room at least is interested in being healthy, and pretty much everywhere I go I hear people talking about their diet and their paleo and their keto and their workout, and I have to say that like 90% of the time people are trying so hard and they're doing a lot of the wrong things and they're not doing the simple things. And so that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. And for example, thyroid. Most doctors are just prescribing people thyroid medicine. I hear it every single day. My thyroid's low, and people are on thyroid medicine. But the thyroid gets the hypothalamus and the pituitary and adrenals have to activate the thyroid. So if you're under a lot of stress and you're not getting enough nutrition for your adrenals, or you're not hydrated, your adrenals won't work, and therefore your thyroid won't work. So things like that are true basic science and the way that your body works that most people are just missing, and most doctors are missing it. Doctors are trained in medicine, and they have antibiotics and cutting. They don't really have other ideas or tools. I have about 1,000 tools in my tool chest, and when I work with people, I teach them about that, and I'm going to teach you a few of them today. And when you use these tools on a regular basis, you can keep your body healthier all the time, because energy's always in motion and things are always happening, and there's a stress, and then there's a great day, then there's bad sleep, then there's good sleep. So energy's always in motion. It's just when there's a traffic jam that we end up having a problem. And the reason we get traffic jams is because of everything in our body, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So I just wanted to say again, like, being healthy is easy, and I hope that you find some of that in what we talk about today. So the 5 missing pieces of all health regimens, right? People are exercising, they're eating healthy, they're drinking juice, they're detoxing, they're dieting, and nothing's working. That definitely happens to some people, right? Taking all these supplements and I can't get rid of my migraines, things like that. And so the first missing piece to all health regimens is EMF remediation. How many people have ever heard of EMF? Like 1/5 of you at most. So EMF stands for electromagnetic frequency. Your body is an electromagnetic field. The earth is an electromagnetic field. And your cell phone, your iPad, your laptop, your computer, your Wi-Fi router, and pretty much the planet is now an electromagnetic field, and it's destroying your health, pretty much. And so I will also preface that every time I say something negative, I actually have a solution for it. So if I say something negative, hold out for a minute, because then I'm going to tell you how to fix it. So EMF is from your phone. We all remember when we first got computers, you would bring your hand up to it and you'd go, oh, it's hot, it can't be good for you close to your computer. And now we all have phones, and some people are like, well, I don't use it because it's bad for you, or I use a headpiece, or whatever it is that you're doing. The thing is that the phone pulls CoQ10 out of your body, it pulls electrolytes out of your body, and it pulls minerals out of your body. So the phone is just killing you. It's making it harder for you to get well. I personally don't understand how anyone could feel good without putting remediation on their phone, but some people are doing it. Some people are living, and when they come into my office, they say, oh, I have this problem or that problem, but when I do this energy test on their body, they have no energy in it, like zero. A 4-year-old boy yesterday had zero energy in his body. A 9-year-old boy last week, zero energy. Like, I could not find one dot on his body that had energy for both of these kids. And the true reason for that is the devices. So we put these little stickers on our devices Christine.
I have one. You wanna see
Okay.
it?
So I will show you those in a second. And when you put these stickers on your device, it turns your device from killing you into healing you. It's really simple. So it's a quantum physics program running in.
It looks like that. Those little stickers.
Thank you. It's a quantum physics program running in this hologram, and when you put it on your phone or your iPad or any of your devices, these two little stickers. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this. And if you can afford a $1,000 phone, you could afford a $35 sticker to save your life. So all your kids, all your devices need to have EMF remediation on it. Because even if you think you feel fine now, it's when things add up and you're just not getting better. Your body, you get kicked when you're down. So if you start to get emotional, or you have a death in the family, or some other crazy kind of stress, that's when you're vulnerable, and that's when anything gets you. So the first thing is to get EMF remediation on all your devices, and we offer those. We have some tonight, and we offer those on our website and in our store. There's also a free download on our website that talks about a lot of the science about that. It's actually science. It's not BS. It's true. If you could see energy, energy would be flowing nice and smooth and soft, kind of like an angel's halo. And then you put in a cell phone tower, and now the energy goes like this near the tower, and then it's smooth here. And then you put in another cell phone tower, and another one, and basically the energy has ADD. And that is pretty much why ADD is so popular, because it's all around us. And then because you have your devices, you get depleted in CoQ10, which makes energy. It makes your heart work correctly. It's part of glycolysis in the electron transport chain, I think, in biochemistry terms. So it's like you can't actually make energy without CoQ10, and your phone depletes you in CoQ10. And when you detox and when your body's trying to heal, you need more CoQ10. So if you're depleted, like when I put someone on like 6 or 8 CoQ10s a day, they're like, wow, that's a lot. And I'm like, well, you've been living without it for 10 years. So it takes a little while to rebuild. We posted on our Facebook page about a few weeks ago a video about how they're trying to put in cell phone towers on like every corner in Los Angeles, and people are like, please don't do this. So, you really need to learn about EMF and remediate all your devices. If we take it to the next level, there's something called Vastu, which is like feng shui. I think most people have heard of feng shui, right? It's the layout of things in your home or your office. Vastu is feng shui, but with energy and EMF also addressed. And so I Vastu people's homes. I also have a do-it-yourself Vastu on my website that I put 40 hours into, so you should definitely check it out. Things that you could do around your home to change your frequency of your home. 90% or more of how you feel comes from your environment. So everything around you needs to help heal you. You are a battery, and everything you come in contact with either charges you or drains you, including people, right? So you need to have more things that charge you. Clutter brings the energy down, and that's why when things are neat and tidy, people feel better. The EMF ages the brain, and it also crushes your ability to make melatonin, and therefore that is one of the reasons why people have such a hard time sleeping. We have a melatonin that helps rebuild the brain and helps your body make more of its own melatonin, and we might have brought a couple of those tonight. Does anyone want to see an energy test of what I mean about the phone? Yeah? Okay, so come on up for a second. I'll use you. Do you have your phone in your pocket?
No.
Okay, so if you make a circle with your thumb and your ring finger, energy is always in motion. It's never created or destroyed. Just the one hand, and rest that one. Energy is always in motion. It's never created or destroyed. So if we look at this is symbolic of his energy being continuous, and this is not. This is a break in energy, right? So energy is never created or destroyed. So hold those together strong, and then I'm just going to come in here and go like that. So that's strong, and that's your weak, right? Strong, weak. So this is how I work with people when I work on an individual basis. This tiny little thing called an O-ring, which has been in 18 medical journals, works. I've helped bring infertile people babies, and I've helped heal all other kinds of wacky conditions using this little circle. So grab your iPad for a second, and then just hold it in your left hand. Yeah, and now hold your circle. He can't even hold it together. There's no strength there whatsoever at all, right? And then if we put the stickers on it, like now I'm trying harder and harder and harder, and you probably don't even have to try, and it holds. But I take the stickers away, hold this as strong as you can. And that is, it's just an energy thing. Like that's your body getting weaker from holding that. And when you put this on there, your body does not get weaker from holding that. So this is just like the in-person example of what I'm talking about EMFs. But you could read, thank you, you could read all the science about EMFs, like I said, online. Okay, so that's the first missing piece of all health regimens. I've had people come to me and they're like, I went to 10 functional medicine doctors, I've been working on this, I do acupuncture, I do this, I do that. They don't have a sticker on their phone, and they just have not gotten well. It's like really simple, okay? The second thing is your detox system. Your body has a built-in detox system. So it's like an oil change for a car. Everything that comes in your body goes through this detox system and gets detoxed and emulsified and filtered, and we pee, poop, and sweat everything out, like all the waste, right? I call the detox system an assembly line, because an assembly line, I think everyone in the room knows that if one guy doesn't show up for work, backs everyone else up. So your detox system is the part of your body that filters everything out, whether it comes in through your skin, your laundry detergent that you're wearing, like your toxic Tide or whatever you're wearing on your body all day, your skin is detoxing all day long from that. Okay, your makeup, your perfume, whatever we come in contact with, Clorox, environmental pollution and smog. Every time that comes into your body, however it gets in, through your mouth, your skin, or air, the first place it goes to is your liver. Our liver, living in Los Angeles, gets at least 72,000 hits a day. And so after the liver detoxifies everything, it sends it to the gallbladder, and the gallbladder does something, and then it sends it to the kidneys and the lymph and the intestines, and then out of the body. But because of your unique body, you may have traffic jams along the way. And anyone that's having an episiotomy or a C-section, anyone that's broken their tailbone, anyone that's got these two front teeth ever knocked out, all those people for sure at minimum have lots of important traffic jams that are blocking the ability of the detox organs to work correctly. So you have to make sure that your detox system is working. So what does everyone do? They detox. But what does that mean? You put more stuff in your liver. But no one deals with the end of the assembly line, the lymph, the intestines, the kidneys. I have never seen a detox program include the kidneys or the lymph, except for the one that I created, because that's what everyone's missing. We're detoxing all day long, but also the example that I like to have people look at is the I Love Lucy episode when they're working at the candy factory. Okay? So the candies are coming through one at a time, they're wrapping them and sending them on the way. And then the boss says, you're doing such a good job, we're gonna speed it up. And literally, they can't process the candies fast enough, so they store them and they stash them. Turn the word candy into toxin, and that's basically what's happening in your body. You can't filter it out fast enough, you store it, and then what happens? People get extra double chins, they get fat, they get toxic, their lymph gets overloaded, and any other health problems. Everyone's health problems are unique to their body because of their traffic jams, their genetics, and their scars, their tattoos, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So the assembly line is the liver, gallbladder, kidneys, intestines, and lymph. And the simplest thing that I have to do for that, I call tapping and swiping. You can literally tap. Did anyone ever like smack a pillow to get the dust out of it? You know, right? You beat the pillow. So we're basically beating your organs and getting the dust out. So I'm tapping on my liver right now, and then you breathe out, and it just moves toxins out. You do your gallbladder, your intestines, your lymph in your neck. So that's tapping, and then swiping is all 360 degrees of the arms and the legs, because energetically everything leaves your body. If it doesn't leave through your intestines physically, then energetically it leaves through your hands and feet. So you swipe the arms, you swipe the legs. I have something called tapping and swiping. It's a whole program where you can go through all your main organs. You can get it on our website, and we may have brought a couple of them tonight. Castor oil is also something easy. It's really inexpensive and it's super versatile. You could put castor oil on all of your organs, and it penetrates deeper when you're hot. So you go into the shower or the bath and you're giving all your detox organs a treatment. So these are things that you could do and really should do for the rest of your life. I could give you a supplement for every single organ or gland, probably 5 for each organ or gland, but trying to keep it simple, tap and swipe, breathe out, put castor oil on the organs, and then you'll have a healthy detox system. Okay, it's really that simple. I referenced scars a couple of times. So anywhere that you have a scar that's greater than 2 inches, 100% of the time, there's infection in it. And then there's other scars like a concussion, or I fell and I hit my arm. So your nutritional state and your emotional state at the time of an injury dictates if it's going to become a future blockage. So when you have a future blockage, it's like you fell, you were emotional, you were a wreck, you were depleted, and then 20 years later you're like, oh, that's my bum ankle, I hurt it in college, it never got better. And what's happening is your body is trying to heal your ankle, so it's taking nutrients from all other parts of the body to send it to the ankle, and then other parts of you get depleted, and you're just still not even healing the ankle. So that's one thing that happens with injuries. The second thing is just that a scar can easily be a traffic jam. We've all been on the freeway and been in traffic jams, and no one likes it. When there's a traffic jam in your body, it's the exact same thing. You could have a traffic jam that completely blocks your intestines. I have numerous people that have scars right down the center of their body. It is really hard to get their intestines to work well. It takes a lot of time because they have a scar, like a thick scar right on the intestines. Any C-section, I said earlier, any episiotomy, scars can reflex to a different part of the body. So there can actually be infection in your body where the scar is, but also, for example, a tailbone injury always reflexes to, and that means it weakens the adrenals. So if you ever broke your tailbone, you could have like 30 years of adrenal, like slowly taking down your adrenals. So a scar could be from when you're 4, 5, 40, or 50. It doesn't matter. Scars block your body. So wherever you have a scar, you could also use the castor oil. We use lasers in the office. We also have a couple of other oils like a eucalyptus and a lavender you could spray, and you got to start breaking down the scar. However, if your detox system and your assembly line is not working well, as soon as you start to heal that scar, you're going to overload your assembly line, and then you're probably going to get sick or feel poorly, and then you're going to go, oh, that didn't work, it made me sick, I have the flu, I got to go get antibiotics. And you're basically covering up the healing, and you're not really, you're just not conscious. You're letting the doctors tell you what to do, and that's the only thing they know. But you could hear my voice. I know I don't know most of you, but this is not my normal voice. This is because I got a massage and they worked on my neck a ton, and my lymph got like a massive overload. So this is a lymphatic system issue and a lymph overload, so I'm tending to it, but that's it. Like, I don't actually get sick because I know what's going on in my body, and when I tend to that, like, it's never actually a cold, it's never actually a bug or a virus, it's just an energy blockage, and they're short-term and temporary. So going back to the scars, as I said, the C-section always weakens the adrenal. The C-section and the tailbone always weaken the adrenals. These two front teeth and these two front teeth go straight down the midline all the way to the gonads. So if somebody's having ED or other issues or uterus issues or trying to get pregnant issues and they have broken these teeth or these, the problem is that there's no energy or not enough energy in this part of their face. Everything on the head is 16 times more potent than anywhere else on the body. So trauma to the head can throw everything off. There was a girl that I saw a couple of days ago who was saying her hair was falling out, and she's tried everything, right? Like biotin and all the typical things everyone tries. But what I discovered was that her collarbone that she broke like 15 years ago was reflexing to her hair, and her left kidney was reflexing to her hair, her adrenals were reflexing to her hair and her head, and like probably 3 other places. So like her hair was her weak link, and you get kicked when you're down, and your body, everything, all your new traumas take down the same part of you. So that's kind of just what happens. And probably reflex means that, like, so I use this O-ring, and if I have the person touch on their scar, the scar might test okay, but when I tap on the scar, what goes weak in the body? So it could be the kidney, it could be the adrenal, it could be the head. So I'm not going to demonstrate that all right now, but it's like your symptom, you would never think that it actually is from your C-section scar. And that's where it's coming from, or your collarbone. You just think, oh, I did that 15 years ago. It's annoying, but you would never think that that's why your hair is falling out. But that's what I'm saying. It is. Okay, the scars and the traumas. And so that is the last point about that is just that sometimes your symptom has absolutely nothing to do with the problem. It's somewhere else in your body, and so it's always about your scars. So again, castor oil, first you would work on your detox and your assembly line with castor oil, and then you start working on your scars. And I do want to say that not all supplements are created equal, and there's a lot of toxic castor oil, and oils need to be in a dark bottle or else they're rancid, basically. Okay, that was the third point. So the fourth point is your downloads and traffic jams. So I call your hands and your feet your downloads. Many of you have probably done yoga, downward dog, and they say like send and receive energy from the earth through your hands and your feet. So energetically, everything clears out your hands. So if you have a lot of stuff clearing, like you just had dental work, or you got your hair dyed, or something in this area, or you injured yourself up here, you may end up getting a traffic jam, like something along the way gets blocked, and then you're suddenly, I have migraines, I have this, I have that, and the simplest thing, again, swiping. Like all day long swiping when you have an issue. And then we also use soaking. So we have ocean salts, and they have some other herbs in them, and when you put your hands or your feet in them, it acts like a vacuum cleaner and just like sucks all the junk out of your body. They have these days pads that you can put on the bottom of your feet, and you wear them for a couple of hours. You could send them off, and they analyze, and they tell you what toxins are in your body. We know that this is true, that toxins leave your body through your hands and feet. So making sure that you don't have any traffic jams on your arms or your legs. And it happens all the time. People, like today, someone had a blockage here and a blockage here, and I was working on their head a lot with energy and lasers and things that we do, and they will end up feeling horrible if I don't make sure the arm channels are open. So just simple, even just like massaging your arms and just tapping on the lymph. There's a lot of lymph all around through here. I didn't talk about that yet as part of the assembly line. Most people think of the lymph as 2 glands here and 2 here. There's thousands of lymphatic glands all through here, all through here. It spills through your body, into your legs. So the lymph is everywhere. So if you really work on your lymph, it's the end of the assembly line. I just told you that the reason I sound like this is because my lymph got like an overload. So you can tap on your armpits and your groins and just breathe out. You'll feel it. If you're sensitive to energy, you'll go, oh, I actually feel pretty good. If you're not sensitive to energy, you might think it's a waste of time, but I promise it's not. So the fourth missing piece to all health programs is tending to your downloads, because a lot of headaches, a lot of neck stuff is all about just the arms having traffic jams. Carpal tunnel, all kinds of hand and wrist things. It's really, carpal tunnel has a lot to do with the intestines, but these programs that the doctors and the physical therapists that I have worked with or seen or heard of from some of my clients, they put these braces on them, and I'm like, but you just gotta go like that more, and you gotta sometimes people have like traffic jams in the hand or the wrist. A lot of people wear like this all day, right? So you gotta like open up your hands and stretch them out, okay? And especially the middle of the hand. And if you're not going to the bathroom at least 3 times a day, number 2, then you have traffic jams or you have blockages in your assembly line. And I know that may sound shocking. I've had so many people come to see me over the years that think that once a day is more than enough. The 4-year-old yesterday only goes once a day. I'm like, how is that possible? No wonder why this kid is crazy. He was like all over the place, jumping up and down, and like you can see in the personality, there's toxicity. And you eat, and your body digests, and you make a bowel movement, and in the bowel movement is the waste. It's the stuff you don't need. And it could be toxins that you just came in, that you got exposed to, and your body's processing and sending it out. If it doesn't come out, the toxins recirculate. Headaches, all kinds of other stuff. Estrogen, hot flashes, all that stuff happens. If you're not going to the bathroom a few times a day, that should be your number 1 goal. And if you need to do a colonic or an enema to work from that end while you work from this end with diet, and I don't even really just believe in fiber. It's really not fiber. It's usually that there's a traffic jam or a scar somewhere on here. If you've had a tummy tuck, if you had a C-section, you had any of your organs taken out, your gallbladder taken out, all of those scars. First of all, you had infection in your body that you needed to take the organ out, and probably no one dealt with that infection for you. And then you got the organ out, so now you have a scar, which is causing another problem. So just because they take out the organ doesn't actually fix the problem. Like I said,
are you thinking the same thing about tonsils? Because so many kids get their tonsils taken out.
right. The reason kids get their tonsils taken out, the tonsils are part of the lymphatic system. Those kids get a lot of ear infections, and the ear infections are because the kidneys are overloaded. Once the kidneys are overloaded for a long time, eventually the tonsils and the adenoids get overloaded, and the doctors just take them out because they don't realize that you could actually heal the lymphatic system. You could tap on it, you could soak these kids in the ocean salts, and their lymphatic system would actually be fine. We have some supplements that are liquid. Yeah, it's just, and I look at the expense, $28 for the supplement, however many thousands the surgery is, or it's free because you have insurance, so people just get pushed into that direction. But the doctors just don't know. They don't know. They have no training. When I was working on my master's in nutrition at that time, the school that I went to just started one nutrition class, one semester in the medical school. No one else was doing it in this country. Like, they're just not taught that. They just don't, it's not really their fault. No one told them. So the last missing piece to all health programs is emotional trauma. Okay, this is the hard to see things. This is stuff that just shows up. Sometimes you're aware of it, sometimes you're not. Your subconscious remembers every single thing in your entire life. So when you're emotional, your subconscious may start like saying, eat junk food, do this, don't go to the gym, be bad, because it just does. So the conscious brain, the subconscious is like the size of a pea, and then the conscious brain is like the size of a hot air balloon. And when you use your conscious brain and say like mantras or affirmations, that is like shutting up your subconscious brain. So if you're like, now I am healthy, your subconscious starts to hear that, and you're basically reprogramming your subconscious. I always point to the back of the head thinking it was like in the past, it's back there. Because it is, it's if your grandmother told you when you were 6, I can't believe you stole that gum or that bicycle, you're never gonna make anything out of yourself. Like, those things come up when someone is going through something, and a lot of the times when people are getting healthy and well, that kind of stuff comes up. And again, you'll feel like it's the flu, you'll feel like something's wrong and you're sick, but it's just emotional trauma, and it's part of the healing process. And like I said, you will never tell that, you'll never be able to tell, oh, it's just emotional. Not never, but most people are not aware of that. But always when someone is getting well, there's an emotional moment. And the way to deal with it is similar to the tapping and the swiping. If you just program the tapping and the swiping into your life, like I do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right when I brush my teeth, like then you just do it. So if you create yourself what I call a personal healing moment, and you just do it regularly, you'll always be addressing the emotional stuff. And we can do a few different things. I'm gonna walk you through a saying that I have, and everyone is welcome to take one of these cards home. This is a saying that we've tested. It's highly polarized and energizing. And my associate did a weight loss program at her clinic, and half of the people said this statement, the other half didn't, and the people that said this statement lost significantly more weight. So if you remember The Biggest Loser, like a lot of it was like the emotional piece of it. It's like when you get in there, it's like fear, and like people don't know that they could feel healthy. There was a famous yoga teacher that talks about when she was down and out, her friend dragged her to a yoga class, and at the end she was like, what is that weird feeling? And it took her about 15 minutes, and then she's like, oh, it's joy. Like, she was so far from joy that she couldn't even remember. And it happens, life is hard and life brings us down, so we have to stay on top of it. So I'm gonna read this. If you want, go ahead and close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and then breathe out a couple of times, and then I'll say it out loud and you can just say it in your mind. So breathe out a couple of times, because you're like setting yourself into feeling grounded. And then just say this in your mind. Body, you are healthy, safe, loved, and healed. And breathe out. You easily dissolve any burden, toxin, or excess weight in your path. For this, I am truly grateful. And then breathe out a couple more times. Yeah, I saw someone just started to yawn. Yawning is actually what happens. 2 people yawned. Yawning is what happens when the traffic jams open. And that's why it's contagious, because it's all about energy. Open your eyes just whenever you feel satisfied. If you're in a zone, stay in that zone for an extra minute. So I call it a personal healing moment. Find 2 minutes or 5 minutes twice a week, 3 times a week, after you drop your kid off, before you walk into your house after work, and just like drop in to just like that quiet time and just breathe out and it's like getting yourself centered. And then you can also tap and clear you could say things like, everyone else get out of my body. If you work around 500 people or there's a lot of crazy chaotic energy, just like, you could swipe or tap people out. There's a yoga pose that they do where they go like this to just like 20 times to just clear your energy field, get everything and everyone out of your energy field. But you only want you in your energy field. So you want you in your energy field and no one else, and you want to say this statement and then add in, when you're in that space, add in any mantras like, now I am healthy, now I can do whatever it takes to be healthy, now I love myself, and money comes easy and frequently are my top 4. Because what I find with all my clients is when all the other emotional stuff tests true, then money always comes easy and frequently. But if that one tests off, it's like they always have other subconscious blockages. But when your subconscious is clear, it's like everyone's good with that statement. So that's a personal healing moment. So those are the 5 things. That's all I really wanted to talk about. There was a request to talk a little bit about injury repair and some basic nutrients for anti-aging and things like that. So I'll just talk about that for a couple more minutes and then we'll be finished. Okay?
Are you going to take questions after?
And I'll take some questions. Yeah. I just want to say, when it comes to supplements, there's a difference. I mentioned it already with the castor oil. I think we all know the difference between a Kia and a BMW, or a Kia and like a Ferrari. Like there's a difference. If you're a woman, you probably know the difference between Wet n Wild 99-cent makeup and Chanel or Bobbi Brown or one of the nicer brands. There is a difference. If you're taking poor quality supplements, you are putting toxic tag-alongs into your body. That means that when the supplement breaks down, if it's somewhat well made, it breaks down and dissolves, and it goes into your cell, and you may get a short-term benefit with a long-term harm. So you might feel better at first, but over time, then people go, oh, it's not really working the same anymore. Well, now it's not only not working the same, but now you've killed a lot of your DNA. So there's a huge difference among products, and that's super important, and I want you to remember that, because you buy something at Costco or CVS or whatever, more than likely it's garbage, And if you want to do a fun test, put your supplements in a bowl of vinegar and let it sit. It should dissolve, but I guarantee half of them are still there 4 days later. That's what's happening in your body. So we have a whole arsenal of supplements. We probably sell about 300 to 500 products. All of them are clean. All of them energetically test well. When a product tests well, it's on the same frequency as the human body. So when you put it in your body, you get an exponential effect. And if you're interested in any of that, we have a supplement program and we have a membership program. Christine or I can answer some questions. But that's super important when it comes to nutrients, to make sure you're taking good quality. And don't be a victim of marketing, because Vega and Garden of Life are garbage. Like, they put a ton of money in, they get gigantic booths in the stores. I have never found one product from either of those lines that energetically test well. And I test everything. So just keep that in mind. In terms of supplements for healing, most of you have probably heard of vitamin C. Some of you probably think about zinc. I use products like nucleotides and Vitalzyme XE. Most of the time I put people on products you never heard of. I know you know to take vitamin C. I know you're eating it in your smoothies and your sweet potatoes. But Vitalzyme XE has in it something like the silkworm has in it, and it breaks down scar tissue. So if you've had a lot of trauma or scar tissue, this will do wonders for you, and it will open up some of your traffic jams. It's anti-inflammatory, and it also helps digestion. I also like Ultra Inflamex, which is a high protein powder, anti-inflammatory, and even just a little teaspoon a day just keeps the gut and the intestines anti-inflamed and really works magic for carpal tunnel and a lot of other issues. Nucleoimmune, as I mentioned, nucleotides are the backbone of DNA. So if you remember back in the day, you like had an A, G, T, C, and you can only pair them with one certain letter. Those are nucleotides. They're actually part of your DNA. Probably only our teenager remembers that. So in any event, it's DNA repair. So it helps you grow new cells. The lasers that I use in the office instantly heal things. Castor oil really helps heal. Of course, vitamin C helps, but again, it has to be a good quality vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is not actually vitamin C. It's a toxic tag-along. Vitamin C that comes from an orange with all of its friends, that's vitamin C.
What's that camu stuff?
Camu. I can't think of what it does off the top of my head right now, but this is one of those questions where people are like, well, should I take this? Should I take that? Should I take that? It depends on what's going on in your body. I change my supplements every month or two. If not, I change random ones even more often than that. Some of the basics that are like your lifetime supplements that your body might need, digestive enzymes, omega-3s, antioxidants, but even that I change my antioxidants somewhat regularly. I put people on one of 7 different probiotics, and sometimes I change them on people as well, because you just need to have diversity. There is no one size fits all. When you take your car in, do they fix the same thing every time? Like, you know, there's always something different. So your body's always going through different things. So you can have your staples like you do for your staples in life. You can have your staple supplements. Those better test well because you're taking those forever. If you're taking something for 2 or 3 days because you had an injury, I might not care as much, but you don't want to put toxic tag-alongs in on a regular basis. Collagen is really a good one for anti-aging. It's a protein. It basically comes from chicken soup, so you could also just have a lot more chicken soup, or bone broth. That's a pretty hot topic right now. Some people love to drink warm bone broth every day, and you know, I could do it sometimes, so I definitely can't do it every day. So we have a protein powder that's tastes like chocolate and it's made out of bone broth. That I could do every day. So, you know, you work with whatever you can. There is a solution for everything, and there's something that tastes good or smells good for everything also. If you've never checked your pH, that is something that I would highly recommend. I meant to bring it and I don't think we did. It's a little paper that you pee on, and in one drop you can see if the paper turns colors. In one color is super acidic, one color is healthy, and one color means that your body's breaking down your bones to try to keep you healthy. So as simple as measuring your pH in the morning and in the evening, and then going and eating if it's not a good reading, going and eating something healthy or a green drink, like one of our green drinks here, and then come back and check it. If you don't make it alkaline, then you have a bigger issue going on in your body. And this is something, the pH paper is like $10. It'll last you like 5 months. This is how you can watch your body go through health. Zinc, we also have, by the way, cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment. So you want your body to be alkaline, and you want to know what your pH is. Zinc, the zinc product that we have, if you drink it and you swish it around, and when you swallow it, if it tastes like absolutely nothing, then you're totally deficient. If it tastes gross, you're sufficient. So there's a lot of little testing tool things that you can use to work on yourself to get healthy. And you know, with Instagram and the internet the way it is, there's so much information. You really just have to make sure that you trust the source and that they know what they're talking about. We do have a decent amount of media out there. I have a bunch of blogs about different things. It's just time consuming, so we get them out there, and we have a bunch of Instagrams, but with little tidbits. Hopefully we'll be able to circulate this video a little bit, and that's really all I had planned. So just want to thank you guys again.
About tattoos?
Tattoos are similar to scars.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the tattoo is an interference field, like where a scar is, where there's a full-on blockage, and sometimes it's a chemical toxicity that adds to like holding on to weight in like lymphatic places, and sometimes it's nothing, you know. Your emotional state and nutritional state at the time of a trauma or a surgery or a tattoo dictates if it's going to become an issue later in life. So if you're like, I'm super happy, I'm gonna go get this procedure, it's gonna make me healthy, and then you do some nutritional stuff building up to it, you're gonna have success and it's not gonna be a problem forever. But if you're like, oh, the doctors really want me to do this and I don't wanna do it and I'm totally stressed out, and you go do it, I guarantee there's gonna be an emotional trauma related to that, and your body's not gonna be as well as it could be. So tattoos, scars, traumas. I usually have people take supplements right up until the day before when the doctors cut them off if they're getting a procedure, and then start again right after. Same thing for people dyeing their hair. I have people take stuff for 2 days before until 2 days after, because hair dye is lead and a heavy metal toxicity that you're putting into your brain. So if you don't want to have heavy metal toxicity and you don't want your hair to eventually fall out, you probably want to take some greens before and after. Wearing an underwire bra, while you're wearing it, your body thinks you have heavy metal toxicity, so your liver and your lymph are overworking to try to kick out the toxins. So I definitely recommend getting some that don't have wire. There's all kinds of little things. I could talk all day and just rattle off one-liners for you. But I'll take some more questions. Denise.
CBD is such a hot topic now, especially with younger patients here. What are your thoughts on that?
I am a medical educator for a CBD company. I teach webinars and I do radio interviews for them as well. I love CBD. It has changed my life. It is amazing. Again, it comes down to the quality and the product, but CBD works on the nervous system, and the nervous system of your body is like the operating system of a computer. When your operating system crashes, you can't use the internet or Word or Excel anyway. So when your nervous system is not working, it's like your body's got like static and like frazzled. So when you get your nervous system working, everything else works better. CBD modulates the hypothalamus, the adrenals, the pituitary, and the occipitals. It improves vision, it curbs the appetite, it helps sleep. I've probably like 50 different things people have commented on about it. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm teaching a webinar on May 3rd called What Women Want, and it's all about CBD.
How do you know which brand to choose
Again, I test everything energetically, so if I recommend it or sell it, that to me is the ones that I'm going to always recommend. People bring products in every day to my office, and randomly 1 or 2 might test well energetically, but across the board a lot of them don't. There's a couple of CBD companies that are good. I mean, that's the energy testing of it, right? And then scientifically, it's if they have third-party assays from independent labs that tell you what's actually in it, then at least you know it's good quality. But I've been to numerous manufacturing facilities and vitamin companies, and let's say that they get basil and they get basil in and they're gonna use it for like a handful of their products. Let's say there's like 3 giant barrels. The companies that I use test a piece from the top, the middle, and the bottom of every barrel for purity. They put it through the machines looking for lead and toxicity. And then they also energy test it, and then I energy test it. So the products that I recommend are super clean and super healthy. Most vitamin companies test 1 sample from the whole thing. And you know that people are sneaky and people are always trying to cut corners. And there have been many cases over the past 25 years that I have heard of, like, suddenly their supplier sent them like sugar. One of them, they sent them I think it was sugar that they painted gold, and they said it was turmeric. Like, the paint came off. This was just a few months ago. Like, this happens. And then that's what, like, the manufacturers know. Then there's what the manufacturers don't know. It's like a lot of companies just don't test their products. There were about 25,000 new vitamin companies in 2017, and only 4% passed good manufacturing policies. So, yes, Soraya.
Hi. There's so many people making bone broth now. It's really nice. Do you have concerns about stainless steel leaching heavy metals? Or do you have a concern about that when people are making?
Yeah, I mean, so the question is about your cookware in general. I use stainless steel. Cast iron, some people do well with, but you could only use it sometime because you could end up with iron overload. The bottom line is you don't want the non-stick and the cheap stuff, because that will every time leach into your food. It is a definite source of heavy metal toxicity. All Clad and one of those, there's another brand like that. Those are pretty clean. Yeah, and they're not leaching. It's the cheap stuff.
Put it in like a ceramic cup in the microwave.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be microwaving it because
Yeah,
when you microwave it, you're radiating your food. So you're eating radiation. Pretty much don't want to do that. But the container that you put things in, like I can't order in because they put things in plastic and I won't eat it. Like I had like an argument with someone at the front door once because they put my soup in a plastic container and I was like, take it back, I'm never gonna eat it. Because heat and plastic equals xenotoxins,
Right.
and then you wear the toxins in your chin. And they just affect your body in so many ways. Today, one of the clients who had a little extra here, when we tapped this, the neck went weak, and that's the bone point. So like his toxins are like weakening his bones. You know, anything can happen in anyone's body. You had a question?
Yeah, alternatives to ibuprofen and for pain and inflammation.
Yep, instead of ibuprofen, I mean, CBD is definitely a great one because it is a pain reliever. There's topicals. We have a couple of topicals and a couple of internal. But the Vitalzyme XE and the Ultra Inflamex, there's also anything for the liver, is because the liver is the organ of pain. If you have pain, then your liver's overloaded. So you got to work on the liver. If you have fear, your gallbladder's overloaded. If you have like equilibrium issues, it's your kidneys. Like, you know, there's actually personality traits with all parts of your body. There's also, it's called inflavonoid intensive care. So it's basically turmeric and boswellia and quercetin and some of those kind of herbs that are anti-inflammatory.
It all comes as one?
That's one formula, inflavonoid intensive care by Metagenics. We carry that as well, and those are easy to find around. We don't have, my son is 13 and he's never had a pharmaceutical in his body, and I have a remedy for everything. Sometimes I can't even think off on the spot, because I would ask, what are your other problems? Because if you're having pain and inflammation, but you actually have a bruise, I'm gonna think, well, your bruise isn't healing, and now maybe you need vitamin C and you need to calm down something else to get rid of the pain. But for headaches, that kind of pain, instead of ibuprofen, I would give CoQ10. For hip pain, it might be something different. Yes.
Do you believe in all the celery juice hype, that it really
You know,
helps, or is that just a...
do I believe in all the celery juice hype? I gave my son celery juice when I was taking him off of breast milk, and it works. It's good for your bones. With all the stuff that's coming out today, the keto, the paleo, like I've been using those for 30 years. None of it's new. There's no new information out there. All of it works when you need it. I mean, it's all good. Drinking juice is amazing for you, whether it's celery or watermelon or other greens. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when people go and do a hype thing and that's all they do, when people do all, they end up doing none. So do it all some of the time. Like that's how you stay well. Yes.
So going off of that, is vegan a hype?
Vegan, you know, a lot of people go vegan because their assembly line's clogged and they're not digesting their food. They probably have scars blocking their intestines. So they feel better when they eat vegan. But so yes, it's a good thing for them at that time, but when you cut out, you're not fixing. When you cut something out of your diet, you're not actually fixing the problem. I'm about fixing problems and solutions. So if you're having I've converted 3 vegans back into eating animal protein because their bodies needed it so desperately, and it was just a matter of what was going in. I call it your today body. What's going on in your today body, right? When I personally went through a divorce, I was vegetarian for 6 months. I couldn't even think about eating protein. All this stuff was going on in my life. And then I got to a point where everything was like settling and normal, and then I was working out a lot, and I was like, I need animal protein. Like, I need it badly. I didn't want to eat it, but I ended up eating it, and I physically felt better. You know, there's all the things, there's like the people that are for the animals and, you know, let's not eat animal protein, it's so bad for you. Everything is bad for you on this planet. Everything is bad for you. It's a matter of what's going on in my body and what my today body. So if you're stressed and tired, then eat things that are lighter to digest. Don't go eating a steak. If you're on vacation and you're happy and relaxed, eat what you want. How many people have gone on vacation, barely exercised, and not gained weight? Like, because you're relaxed. Your cortisol is calm. When you're stressed out, you're secreting cortisol all day. That makes you store fat. So I call it your today body, and your today body changes, right? Like someone's getting married, someone's getting divorced, someone's doing this, the new job, gotta travel, gotta move. There's all these random stresses in your life, and you have to tend to what you need. So it's really about what feels right for you. You know, the fish is toxic, the animal stuff is toxic in its own way, like everything is a mess. But if I keep my assembly line healthy, it's not going to stay in my body. So that was a great question. It's really about your body. When people are like, oh, don't eat there, I got food poisoning the last time I ate there, it was your fault. It was your fault because you did not have enough HCl in your stomach. You're deficient probably in salt and electrolytes. Your adrenals are depleted, and your stomach should make HCl, and when food hits your stomach, you should secrete it, and HCl would kill anything on contact. So this person, when they got food poisoning, was just deficient. It's their fault. So yeah, it's gross when servers are not clean, and legally they're not supposed to wear tank tops, and they have to wear their hair back, and that almost never happens. And I won't eat anywhere unless they got an A. I definitely don't eat at a B. One of my favorite places currently has a D. I avoid it like the plague. I worked for the health department. I've been on those visits. I know what you can get away with an A. I'm definitely not eating with a B. So then you're risking things. But you know, it all comes down to what's going on in my temple right here. So, any more?
Caffeine, how much caffeine do you think?
I don't drink any. I don't do well with caffeine.
Okay.
My body hates kombucha also. Don't do it, you know. So again, like all these things that are healthy, it depends on you and your body.
Green tea,
Green tea, the ECGC of green tea is super amazing for you. It prevents cancer. It's good for the stomach and digestion and good for your skin. All of that is great. Personally, I take them in supplements instead of eating them and drinking them. I don't do well with caffeine. I feel like crazy. But yeah, I mean, you have to have a vice. Like, if you don't have a vice, like, you're not going to be happy. You have to have a vice. My vice right now is CBD. I'm just like, and then I'm like happy. You know, so you can't take everything out. If you feel good and you love your coffee, keep your coffee. Just drink water. Like, if you're like, I'm drinking too much coffee, stop drinking too much coffee. Like, but it will deplete you, you know. So you just have to, your body is like a car. Like, you take care of your body the way you do your car. You get it washed, you know, you tend to it. There's cars that are 5 years old that look like a wreck. And then here in California, there's cars that are 50 years old that look immaculate. You can have the same body. Like, you could either have a rundown one or an immaculate one. The choice is yours. You know, I didn't talk about the chemicals in all your cleaning products and the chemicals in the air and like a lot of people's perfume and a ton of candles. They're all toxic. So you light that candle and it's like going right through your brain, and now you're not getting 70,000 hits a day. Now you're up to like 80,000. You know, and if your liver can't handle it, then you're going to end up having liver issues. Liver issues are like anger and irritability and road rage and depression. So as soon as, and energy is always moving, so nothing is ever always this way. I mean, it is for some people at times, but you know, when my adrenals are fine. My adrenals are fine, they're fine Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, someone walks in and I go like this. I'm like, oh, you scared me. My adrenals are off. That's what that means. So then I have to tend to my adrenals and go, why am I stressed out? Am I deficient? Did I not get enough sleep? I might just rub and tap and breathe my adrenals, and then they're fine again. Because energy is always moving. You have like instant rage. You go take B vitamins that get into your bloodstream fast, and you have instant calm. It's like that. There is a solution for everything, and it's an easy solution. Yes?
How do you address autoimmune, people with autoimmune disease?
The number one problem across the board with autoimmune is emotional trauma, and then all the 5 things that we just said. Traffic jams, EMF. This woman that I saw the other day, 70 years old, she felt, of course, the need to tell me her story for 20 minutes. Wrong diagnosis, on this medicine for 2 years, then they figured out what she really has and whatever. She had no energy in her body. That's what she really had. And she had EMF radiation, like her body was just weak. At the end of the session, she stood up and she goes, oh my gosh, I felt terrible this morning and I feel amazing right now. Like in 1 hour, like it doesn't have to be hard. Like, you know, I didn't even need to know her story because I'm going to do the same thing on everybody. I'm just going to check them for energy. I'm going to check their assembly line organs, and I'm going to help heal them with lasers or castor oil or other topical oils or internal nutrients and breathing techniques, and help them move emotional stress and trauma out, and then they feel better. It's really everything I talked about today is all that we need. Yes.
What kind of dinnerware do you suggest using? You know, like glass, you know, because there's glass, china, to
the
eat
plates?
off of. Plates, bowls, yeah.
I mean, I don't have a specific preference for
Oh.
that. I care more about the cleaning detergent that you use on the plates.
Okay.
Yeah, you
What do you
just.
suggest for that?
Well, Seventh Generation is one of the
Seventh,
cleaner
okay, yeah.
brands. You know, Method, I don't even like Method. Sorry.
Okay.
They smell toxic. And
What
you know,
about the company Myers?
Myers here and there. Yeah. You always want to go with unscented. Like Seventh
Right.
Generation, I use Free and Clear because even their like non-scented still smells. But it's the scents that are neurotoxins, right? So you smell it and it's like constantly, it's like taking down your brain. Yeah. Good? Is that a wrap?
Going
Yeah.
back to EMF, you can control your own devices, but you can't control others.
You
So
can't
is there-
control others, but when your devices are protected, you are protected.
So can you just wear like a bracelet or?
There's I
something?
mean, there's a million things. There's crystals and there's these diamond, you know, these like pendant things people wear. But you're going to be exposed to every store you go into has a Wi-Fi everywhere you go. In France and Australia, they took the Wi-Fi out of their school system right before we put it in. They already figured out how bad it was, and then we put it in a few years ago. And so now you have like 300 laptops and Wi-Fi in the school, and the kids are, you know, these signals bounce off of everything all day long. But if you keep your electrolytes high and your minerals high and your pH alkaline, your body can hold an electric charge, and you won't get taken down so easily from all those devices. But you have to have your devices protected. But now you can sleep with your phone next to you. You can sleep with it on your head once you put the stickers on it. It's actually charging you. It's healing you. Anything else?
Should you also put them on the desktop computer?
You can put them on the desktop
Yeah,
computer,
okay.
your Wi-Fi router, your circuit breaker of your home. That's all in the do-it-yourself Vastu guide.
Okay.
So I recommend like the EMF, the Castor Oil, the do-it-yourself Vastu, and the tapping and swiping are all on our website if you want to read more. And I'll be around for a little bit after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.